Hey there everyone, it's Mrs. D and today's video is about lesson planning. So thanks for watching and I hope that it helps you. The reason I wanted to do this video is because I know that there are a lot of teachers who are struggling with going from having lessons already prepared to having to create their own lessons. So this is going to be kind of a lesson planning crash course and like super crash course because this is only going to be about planning one lesson. So if we're going on to platforms where we have to create our own lessons, I wanted to give a quick outline of what a lesson generally should include, and then I'm going to show you guys a lesson that I do on Outschool. So for every lesson, there's a general outline, and every lesson should include a warm-up and then an overview or introduction of the class, connecting the old information with the new information, and then the active teaching session, practice session, independent practice session, and a review. So I'm going to go ahead and break down each of those parts for you and then show you the class. A warm-up can be anything from when you do introductions to icebreakers to an educational video or game or a song that everybody knows. It's just kind of to get the class in a class frame of mind and working as a group if you're going to be doing group lessons. And that should only last a couple of minutes. The next thing is going to be the overview of the class, which is where you're just basically telling the students what they are going to learn with you that day. The next part is connecting the new information and the old information in some kind of activity if you can do that. Whether that's a discussion about, who here has ever done this type of stuff before. Well, today we're going to apply it this way, or another kind of activity, bingo, songs, drawing, any kind of thing that you could slip some of the new information in and mix it up with some of the old information, pictures, maybe even where you've looked at some old things that you've done in lessons before and then put some new stuff out there. Okay, then there's, again, those first three things should only be a few minutes each, not very long at all. They should not take up the bulk of your lesson. The next part is the teaching section, and so this should obviously take up a good amount of your lesson. You're basically giving them the lesson, giving them the information, however it is that you've decided that you're going to present that information that you're giving in this lesson. That's what you're doing in the teaching section of the lesson. This is the idea of I do, we do, and then you do, okay? So the I do is the teaching section. I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to give you this information. After that, we're going to do a kind of a practice. This is the we do. So this is pretty well guided by the teacher, and it includes a lot of interaction with the students. So helping them practice the information that they have been given. After that is independent practice. However, you can try to get them to do that, whether like little quizzes, question and answer session, they're going to work by themselves. It's basically showing you that they can apply the information that you've given them and that you've practiced with them. Now this is their turn to say, okay, I can take this information and I can use it on my own. And then finally, it's the review. Well, what did you learn today? I always like to ask the students what they learned in the session, or just review the information. Today we learned this, this, and this. It can be very much the same as your overview of the class where you told them what you were going to learn. It's kind of like, okay, so this is what you learned. And then sometimes you can even introduce them to the next topic. So in our next class, we're going to do this. Okay, so that is like a basic way to plan a lesson. And again, we're going to warm up. We're going to tell them what they're going to do in class today. We're going to connect the new with the old. We're going to teach them. We're going to practice with them. We're going to let them do it independently. And then we're going to review the information with them. So let's take a look at my topic sentence ongoing class and how this is structured in a very similar way. Okay, on Outschool, I teach an ongoing class on how to master topic sentences. And I really follow pretty well the class structure that I just introduced to you. So here is where I kind of tell them, hello, welcome to mastering topic sentences, and then we might do that warm-up game, okay? Or introductions or icebreakers, whatever, little thing that you can do to kind of bring the group together as a class. The next part is the overview of the class. Today we're going to do this, 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 and this, okay? And then for this one, I kind of actually don't connect the old with the new because this is an ongoing. Actually, I do, and it's just not in my presentation. I'll ask the students, what purpose does a topic sentence serve? And the answer should be that it introduces what you're going to write about in a paragraph. But I have to, I haven't updated my slides to put that in here. So that's going to connect the old information that they've learned before. And then we're going to say, all right, let's get a topic and what ideas we're going to get from the topic. Okay. So this is, and then we talk about that. And then we fill in this guide, okay? And this is me telling them basically how we're doing things. And then I'll teach them how to use this guide and base it off of their conversation. So they have a conversation about the topic, and then we fill out this guide based off of that conversation, and I come up with ideas of topic sentences. So then we do the same thing. This is now we're moving into from the teaching section to the practice where we're going to do it as a group. Okay, so then we go back, we get our topic, we talk about the topic, and we fill in the guide based off their conversation. More of a me asking them, what am I going to put here? And what are we going to put here? And what are we going to put here? And then I have them come up with a group topic sentence where I kind of do way less talking in this section, or they each come up with their own topic sentence and we kind of discuss that openly in the group, how we can improve it or how great it is, or how we can see that it has idea 1 and 2 in it and things like that. Okay, so in this part of the class, in the teaching part of the class, it's a lot of me talking. It's a lot of me teaching the kids what to do. And then in the second part, in the practice section, it's a lot more of the students talking. And then finally in the independent section, it should be almost all the student talking. So we kind of go from a 70-20 teacher talk ratio, the teacher talking 70% of the time, the students are talking 20% of the time in the first teaching section, to in the practice we might be doing a 50-50 where we're kind of equally amount of talk time. And then in the independent practice, we want to see that reverse. We want to see the teacher talking about 20% of the time and the students talking about 70% of the time, because they're showing that they can do this. They are showing that they've learned this material. So that's, now you are ready to do it on your own. We get a topic, we talk about it, and then they fill in this guide. And then they write their topic sentence, and we all share the topic sentence that we wrote at the end of this in a perfect class. They share their topic sentence that they have written independently, and we kind of talk about that. And then we just talk about how amazing they are. We might recap what a topic sentence purpose is, what a topic sentence should contain, and things like that. And then I'll say, goodbye. I'll see you next week. All right. So hopefully that will help you guys out with some of your lesson planning, give you a direction of where to start with. Just gather all your materials and then try to lay it out in this kind of warm up, overview, connect new and old, teach it, practice it, independence practice, and then a review. Now, the last little bit that I wanted to talk about was about timing, how to time these out. And I'm going to give you kind of a guideline for a 25 to 30 minute class and a 45-minute class. I generally like to teach 25-minute and 45-minute classes because 25 minutes will give you a 5-minute breather between back-to-back classes, and 45 minutes gives you a good amount of teaching time and then space to go over if you need to or if you can. And then if you don't go over, then you have that 15 minutes of any kind of review, adjustments, communications, and resting that you might need in between back-to-back classes. So a 25-minute class should kind of look like the warm-up should only be about 1 minute long. The overview is going to be 1 minute long, and your connecting activities are going to be about 2 minutes long. Then your teaching will be about 5 minutes long, and your practice about 10 minutes long, and your independent practice about 5 minutes long. So the group practice is going to take up the bulk of the class. In all of the different formats. That's generally what I like. I like to practice it as a group together. So I teach it quickly, we practice it for a long time, and then they independently practice it quickly. And then the review is going to take about 1 minute in a 25-minute class. In a 45-minute class, you've got a little bit more time. This is going to add up to 43 minutes, and then you have a little bit of wiggle room. So the warm-up would be a 2-minute activity. The overview is going to be a 1-minute activity, and the connecting classes together is going to be about a 3-minute activity. So you can do something with a little bit more meat to it. The teaching can be 10 minutes. The practice can be 15 minutes, and then the independent practice can be a 10-minute session. And your review can be 2 minutes long. So that gives you about 43 minutes for a 45-minute class. So that's how I like to break them up. Again, like I said, the practicing as a group is where I put the bulk of my time. You are welcome to adjust this however you'd like. This is what I do. This is what I find works for me. And I just want to put all of this information out there to see if it can help you get started on planning your own lessons. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for tuning in. If it was helpful for you, give it a like. Leave some comments to please the algorithm gods. Subscribe so you get to see the next video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.